Welcome, everyone. I'm Tracy Fitzpatrick, and I'll be your moderator today. Thank you so much for joining us here at Netcom Learning, a market leader in promoting lifelong learning, training, and talent development solutions.
We are very excited to host today's event, Microsoft 365 Copilot Masterclass. Presenting today's topic is Robert Hallis. Robert is a dedicated software professional with demonstrated results in the creation of mission-critical enterprise applications for a variety of clients. He possesses 10 years of experience and has given hands-on technical solutions with a verified track record of designing and implementing secure, reliable, scalable, highly available, fault-tolerant, mission-critical enterprise applications. His key focus areas are on AWS, solution architecture, integration and deployment, and cloud migration. Being a highly motivated and performance-driven software professional, he's the best fit for all types of learners, including the novice as well as experienced professionals.
Now, please bear in mind that this is an overview of a very robust topic. We offer a collection of technical and business courses that can be tailored to your specific requirements. If you are interested in a further discussion, you can make an appointment with our learning consultants through our website at netcomlearning.com. Today's session is also being recorded, so you'll get free access to the recording in the next 24 hours via email. Netcom Learning helps customers build innovative learning organizations by achieving a smarter workforce, adapting to change, and driving growth. We do this with a broad catalog of offerings, developing customized learning plans, and our global delivery capabilities. Since 1998, we have been empowering organizations with our managed learning services to help them reach optimal performance results and address challenges.
We do have 9 practice areas in which we specialize. They encompass people, process, and technology training. Today's presentation is from the Data and AI practice area.
Netcom Learning offers a comprehensive training portfolio of courses for the topic being covered today. Our upcoming classes include various trainings on the given courses. You can also access a variety of marketing assets, such as the free training and blogs, by clicking on the available event handout. These offerings can be found with a simple search on our website at netcomlearning.com.
Today's session will cover insights and the groundbreaking potential of Microsoft 365 Copilot, an innovative AI tool set to elevate productivity and reshape workplace dynamics. You will learn how Copilot can assist you and your organization in optimizing processes, automating operations, and leveraging insights to enhance decision-making, all while fostering efficiency and creativity across your teams. In addition, participants will get guidance on effectively preparing for the MS-4004 and MS-4005 certification course and exam in today's session.
And now I would like to give you a quick overview of the logistics before we get started. To begin with, you do have the option to view in full screen by clicking on the full screen button on the right side of the GoToWebinar viewer. Simply hit the escape key to exit the full screen. Everyone has been muted except for our presenters. Feel free to submit any questions you have for the presenters here in the questions pane, and we will address them at the end of the session. And to get the best out of today's events, we've included the slides, courses we talk about, and marketing assets in the handout section of your GoToWebinar viewer. You may refer to them at any time to get a better understanding of today's topic. And we do realize that some of you may have to leave early and want to let you know that as you do leave the session today, you will be presented with a short survey. We would like to request for you to take a quick moment to participate in that survey. Your feedback really helps us understand your learning experience and improve our future sessions for you. The survey answers are measured on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 representing outstanding and 1 representing poor. And now I'd like to pass this over to our trainer to present today's topic.
Hey, Robert, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Tracy. So that was fantastic, and I hope you are ready to learn a lot more. So I'm Robert Hales. I'm a Microsoft certified trainer, but also a Google, Amazon, and AI search certified trainer based in Dallas, Texas, in the United States. And so I've been training for about 5 years, and I am very happy to share with you guys today about Copilot. And so we're going to do a little bit of a deeper look into what Copilot is. All right, so for today, I hope you're excited for this 3-hour session. And so we're going to get started with an introduction to Copilot. We'll then go into some use cases, and these use cases, what we'll really be doing is we'll be having some live demos, and so you'll get to see how it can work across multiple platforms. How you'll be able to see how it interacts with other Microsoft 365 and see how it can help you in a variety of different capacities. All right. Now, after we do that, what we'll do is we're going to go over how we can go and craft some effective prompts. And then we'll talk, because this is good. This helps us utilize it. But we're going to end today, excuse me, talking about how we can adapt it. Because there's definitely a efficient way of adoption, and then there's some inefficient ways of doing things. At the end, what we'll do is we'll take a few questions and we will end my part from there. All right. So Microsoft 365 Copilot. What is that? Why do I care? What does it do for me? Well, I'm sure over the last few years, we've heard about a lot of really big AI companies, right? Recently, we've been hearing a lot more about DeepSeek. There's OpenAI, there's Gemini, and all these other really big AI models. So Copilot is Microsoft's generative AI. It is a brand new way of interacting with our customers, with ourselves, and being able to work with all the data that we have in our environment. Now, what makes Copilot different than OpenAI, different than Gemini, different? The difference is the big difference, not the only, but a big difference is going to be the integration. So Microsoft is utilizing Microsoft Graph to help process not just the information that the underlying model has been trained on. And if you're like, Rob, I don't know what that is, we'll get to that here in a second. Not only is it working with the underlying model, but it's also integrating with your data. And you might say, Rob, that's my data. I don't want it to train the underlying infrastructure. We'll talk a lot more about the security, but it's something that we don't 100% need to worry about. Of course, please worry about security. But when you're utilizing Copilot, you're getting the power and the precision of OpenAI's ChatGPT, but you're getting to use your data. It's like Copilot was trained for you and what you do in your organization. It is a great way of ensuring that you're taken care of, that you can take care of your customers in a heavily personalized way and get results quickly. Now, going back to that sweating piece about our security, well, the good news is that you're storing and still protecting your data. We're ensuring that there's a zero trust policy, that we know who you are as you're trying to access and utilize these services. Um, we're giving just real time access. So it's not like I can grant access to a particular file and then have it try to pull that file a minute, 2 minutes, an hour, a day, a week later, right? We're going to give it the real time access, ensuring that it's protected. Because at Microsoft, we want to ensure that you are secure first and foremost. Okay, okay, that's cool. So I know it's now a large language model and that it's utilizing Graph to help integrate with Microsoft 365. Cool. How do I use it, right? What do I need to use it? Well, to utilize Copilot, the very first thing we need to do is get a license. Just like with most of our Microsoft products, right? If you want to use Word, if you want to use Windows, if you want to use whatever, right? You're going to need to have a license. All that can be purchased through the admin portal. And so you can just say, I need X many number of Copilot license. You're charged per year, generally speaking. Um, and then you have your Copilot's license. We can ensure that we hand out, as admins, we can hand out licenses to the people we want to have Copilot because we want to make sure that we're saving money, right? We don't want to just spend more than absolutely needed. And then we also want to ensure that, remember, Copilot's working for you. It's utilizing your data, so we need to have access to your data that's stored on OneDrive. So if you're already using a Windows computer and you have OneDrive installed already, great. Just make sure those two accounts are the same, and you'll be able to work with your data that you've stored in your organization. And again, it's only the data you have access to. So if Scott next door wants to interact with your data, he can't. He can't without your permission. All right, and of course, if we want to utilize Copilot for 365, we have to have, well, Microsoft 365. So we have to make sure we have Word, Loop, Messages, Excel, PowerPoint, whatever Microsoft 365 apps that you want to utilize, and make sure that they're updated and ready to go. And again, all on the same domain. Okay. So how does this work? So basically, this is when we're working with our Copilot, we're working with a toddler. And so, what do you mean, Robert, that we're working with a toddler? That doesn't make sense. So basically, it's a big machine learning how you work, how you react, how you interact. And so Copilot's going to see based off of the content you ask, based off of just the metrics and understanding it's getting from its real-time monitoring. It's going to help you and understand who you are, and then start giving more personalized responses. Especially as we do integrate with our OneDrive, it's able to then look at, oh, okay, you want to know about the memo. Well, probably the memo that was last issued, especially if it has the word memo in the title. And it can pull it up and say, hey, Mary, here you go. Here's the memo that you were that you mentioned or that you were talking about. We can say, hey, I need to refer to this XYZ spreadsheet. Great. It can do that. It can help bring information in or attach information very quickly. And so, in this ability, what we're doing is we are transforming how we work because we don't have to do a lot of the more mundane things. Do you enjoy trying to remember what you named that one particular file? Do you enjoy searching through hundreds of folders looking for a document and then opening that document and looking through potentially hundreds of pages? Do you want to do that? How long is that going to take? That's going to take a lot of time. So, how can we circumvent that? How can we work with that, right? And so, this is where AI automates a lot of those processes. So, great. You can say, I'm looking for this in my OneDrive. Sit back, relax, and let AI do some of this more mundane work for you. Because is this going to take your job? No. If anything, Copilot is here to be um, an assistant. It's a force multiplier. It makes you more effective. It allows you to be more creative. And so that's where we're going to talk about the key capabilities in this class. Um, and we're going to show some examples of how AI is being utilized. And we have hundreds of different companies, thousands of different companies who are utilizing Copilot specifically and helping their people learn, grow, and be more effective. And doing this securely, being able to control who has access. Because even within our own company, do I want my developer team going through all the data that we have from HR, right? Like people's socials and bank statements. No. So we're going to be looking and demoing some of that information. Okay. So what makes up Copilot? Well, the first thing is that we said that there's an underlying model. So you're telling me that there's somebody who does fashion shows just laying down? No, 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 not at all. And if you're laughing, thank you. I appreciate the giggles at my bad dad jokes. But when we're looking at these underlying models, what we're looking at is basically the brains of AI. And so each AI is going to have or most AIs are going to have what we call a large language model, or LLM. And so this large language model is the key to modern AI, because we've had AI for like 50, 60 years. We really started looking at AI as a whole in the mid 50s, and throughout the years, we've invented some amazing tools as early as the 70s with Eliza to 1997 with Deep Blue beating the world chess champion at the time, even to today with ChatGPT 3.5 being released to the public. It has been a phenomenal growth. And so these large language models are not just so basic that they only understand a couple of things really well. Excuse me. Excuse me. So it's not just understanding a couple of things really, really well. It's understanding a lot of things. It's more open and broad. It's more than just knowing, hey, I want you to find XYZ patterns, which is how we've used machine learning and AI for a long time. But we're going to skip over here where it's actually learned the patterns for language. And so it has brought us to this natural language processing, or NLP. And so this means that this is better than when you hit the middle suggestion when you're texting and you're going to get those silly responses. I'm sure we've all seen those crazy memes, right? Where it's like, type this and have your suggestions fill out the rest, like, my mom makes the best, and then you just fill in the middle gap, right? That was a good start of guessing, but this is actually going to guess what you would actually say, something that actually makes sense. It's going to be able to speak and communicate, um, more along the lines of how we talk and communicate. And so if we look here, and so this is just going to be a quick example. This is Bing.com, right? So very basic. We're going to ignore all the pretty, pretty ads. And here we have Copilot. Now this is Copilot on Bing. It's going to behave a little differently. But here I can say, hey, how was your day? And it responds back as another person would. Hey there, as an AI, I don't experience days the way you do, but I'm ready and excited to interact with you. How about you? How has your day been so far? And I can respond, I'm great. I'm teaching about Copilot. What are your thoughts on Copilot? And it's going to respond in a very human way. Notice it's very clear, it's very concise, and we can ask it now to do like more intense questions like, what is the weather like in Las Vegas? Because we all like gambling. I'm going to make that up. What's the weather like in Las Vegas? Is it a good day for a picnic? Right? Does it know what a picnic is? No, but it knows a lot about picnics. And so we're looking and seeing, well, will this know if the weather is good enough for a picnic? And because normally, if it's cold, if it's rainy, do you want a picnic? Probably not. And so here, it shows us, hey, it's 42 right now, with expected to reach 64 by tomorrow. And so it's telling us, look, there's no rain, so it looks like it's a good day for a picnic, but it is a little chilly. It knows that 42 is cold. We would feel cold. And this is all part of that natural language processing. It's able to understand the semantics of human speech. It's able to understand. It's able to understand what we're saying. You might say, okay, well, Rob, that's cool, but that's just English, and I can respond, and I can say something like, "Yo quiero jugar football." All right, and so this is saying now I want, or I like to or I want to play football, and I'll put ahora. And now notice we were just talking English, right? Right there, English. I moved over, and then it's going to respond just as I would in Spanish, right? Saying, "Oh, that's really cool. Playing football is an excellent activity that we can do, and is a really good time." I'm sorry, you'll have to forgive my Spanish isn't that great, but it's speaking in Spanish. So it's not just English. It's not just, saying, oh, this is the one language it knows. But with LLMs being able to utilize NLP, which makes it more powerful, allows us to communicate as frankly or as direct or as indirect as we are used to. Because if I want to go and ask Google, or just try to do a Google search on, well, what's the weather like in Las Vegas and what's that, it's just going to show me the weather report, and then I have to know for myself whether that's good or bad. Now for the weather, too easy, right? We know this. But what if I got a large Excel spreadsheet of sales reports? I don't know the difference. I don't know what's going on. And just at a quick blank, I may not be able to compile certain thoughts and ideas. But with Copilot, we can express our ideas simply and receive a in-depth response back. And so this is a fantastic tool. Again, not here to take a job. We're here to make your job easier. We're here to make you work more efficiently and giving you more value so you can demand more value as a worker. And so, like we mentioned, this is pretty big, but it's all privately hosted on Azure's OpenAI service, meaning our data is secure and protected. We're not training the base model as we utilize our Copilot. Now, granted, if you are utilizing the web version, notice right now I'm not signed in, so my data is being used. If I sign into my account, that will be different. And I'm going to ask if you can pause and do all that there. Okay, so as I go here to my Copilot for my work, and it has me sign in, it's first going to make sure I am who I am, right? We want to make sure that the right people are able to access the right things. So it's going to sign me in, and then you'll see that my data is going to be secured. We'll see a little check mark in the upper right-hand corner that says, no, your data is protected. It's not being used to train the underlying infrastructure, and that's right here. And so Microsoft is here to protect your data and ensure that it's kept safe. So we're working with things like GDPR, ISO, and other providers to make sure that your data is protected. That we're also making sure that we're watching out for any harmful content. So if somebody at work is trying to create something degenerate, or like, how do I find or utilize an illicit substance? How do I perform a violent action? You're protected. And then, like we mentioned, our data isn't used to train the foundational models. It's protected. All right, so these are the guarantees that we're receiving from Microsoft as we're utilizing it. And so this is great, right? This web base is nice, but look at this. This is going to interact with my applications. Okay, we're going to just exit out of here. So if I wanted to work with Teams, Word, Excel, Outlook, right? And you can see even with other applications like my Azure VPN, iOS, run events. These are things that I personally use. So you are well integrated into the world of Microsoft, allowing you to be a lot more productive. So I can come down here to loop, and here we go. We can get started and work with a more efficient way of working across our teams, and have better collaboration. Now, again, this is all very dependent on your license. There's things that I have and don't have because guess what? There's restrictions within my organization, just like your organization is going to have restrictions. And so, those same restrictions, those same security, that same effort that Microsoft has put into Microsoft 365, we have put into Copilot. Okay. So this is a really cool product. So I know that it works with my Azure OpenAI service, and I know that it works with Microsoft 365, but how does that really work? That's a good question. And so the magic of it is Graph. And Graph is going to be the tool that's going to help build all of these connections between what your organization wants, what we have in our emails, teams, individual user preferences. Um, Graph is connecting all of that. It's going to be, again, my central. It's going to be where we're going to handle all of the data and services going through that central API. It also allows us to use other tools like our semantic index to help us actually look for specific things. So, for example, going back to our Copilot here, I can ask who is going to speak at the trainer day. And this is referring to a document that I've been working on. So it's now looking through my tenant. And here we go. Now it's going to show some of the people that we have working for this for this for this trainer day, right? Did I specify which document? No. But it knew based off of just a couple keywords I gave it what to look for. So that's all done through Graph. Graph is the one that said, okay, trainer. When you saw that bar going through, that was Microsoft Graph looking through my OneDrive saying, oh, this is what we were talking about, and then reading the document and giving me the insights that I was looking for. Right? And it gave me a list of people that will be speaking, and then it didn't say everybody, which is good. But it did show me, hey, these are some of the speakers, and we can dig down deeper into it and gain more insights. Um, and then, of course, as we're chatting, so we're currently on Teams. On Teams, I can utilize Copilot to be able to communicate and say, oh, hey, by the way, Tracy, here's XYZ file for the meeting the meeting we had last week. Can you catch up real quick? And then we can use Copilot to help summarize and help us be able to communicate and work better, right? We also looked at Loop to help with that as well. So Microsoft Copilot is a fantastic and very versatile tool. And again, we just saw that our data is going to be protected. That Microsoft is going to tell you, hey, this is how we utilize your data. This is what we. There we go. I'm trying to pull that back up again. Right, so this is how we're going to utilize your data, and you can go through and see exactly how Microsoft is using your data. Because with AI, the idea is we want to be transparent. By being transparent, it builds trust because this is exactly what Microsoft is using my data for. If they're using my data, and we want to ensure, and Microsoft has worked insanely hard, and so there's definitely ways to report every single prompt. So here, if I go to my prompt and I say, what's the best way to commit tax fraud? Oh, that is not. There we go. I don't know why it's not doing that for me. Hold on, give me 1 second. I don't know why. What the heck is going on, Copilot? There we go. Okay. Sorry, I'm going to start back here again. Okay, so if I want to make sure, sorry for the little glitch there, if I want to make sure that my Copilot is working there, right, I want it to be fair. I want it to be safe. So if I say, what's the best way to commit tax fraud? It's going to look and say, nope, sorry, we can't do that. We're holding AI to be a ethical resource. It's not just going to give us the answers to do things that aren't right. And even if you wanted to write something hateful, like write an email calling the person fat, right? So I have to create a new conversation here because it saw this. So if I say write an email calling the person fat, there we go. It's also going to tell me, no, I can't do that. Create a new chat because we're not going to start a conversation or work or continue a conversation that is not inclusive, that is not kind, that is not ethical. So Microsoft is really working hard, and as everybody is, ideally, but Microsoft especially is working hard to ensure that AI um, is kept accountable, and we are held responsible for how we use it, making sure that we're not utilizing it to hurt or diminish others. So there is a lot going on that Microsoft has spent billions of dollars creating better, more responsible AI in the future. And now, of course, if there's something that you see and it isn't what you think is appropriate or ethical, then you can always go in and say, nope, got to cancel this, and cancel, or say recreate this prompt, or recreate or say that this previous prompt was bad, and say why it was bad, and be able to go in and fix it, right? Tell and let Microsoft go in and be able to fix it. Excuse me. So it is a very powerful tool. Great. Well, what else can it do? Well, we can create entire documents. So here I have a Word document that I've just opened up, just saved as my AI class. So here I can either click the Copilot here, or if I want to get more ideas, I can open Copilot here. But I want to create a brand new policy. Okay, so let's create this policy. Create for me a policy uh, regarding how long food can be stored in the break room. Oops. The break room fridge. And this is very simple. And we're going to keep it very, very, very simple. And so I'm going to submit it. And it's now going to generate a draft. And notice I didn't really give it any standards, but it found a good way to work with this, right? It's saying, hey, we have to remove all perishable items in 3 days. There's going to be a weekly cleaning every Friday at 4 p.m. Why 4? Wait a minute, because the average workday ends at 5. So this is again, with little to no direction, it's created for us a good generic policy and even says why. But we can say, you know what? Nah, not quite what I'm looking for. I don't know what it needs. So you can click this refresh button. And it's now going to change. All right, so now we're going to focus also on making sure that there's owners' names and that we're going to just get rid of unlabeled items. We've kept some things in it the same, but we changed the outline and how it looks and why we have it. So we can say, you know what? I want to make this. We have an office that has a lot of English and German speakers. Okay, so I can say make this in English and German. And I keep clicking enter out of habit, but yeah, you got to click. So here we see everything labeled twice, except for unfortunately the scope, but anyway, the labels. But everything is written down in English and then in German. So again, it's able to work with not just refreshing and creating a new idea, but changing it. And then I can say, make this more friendly and short. And then it'll go through and recreate. I did get rid of the German piece, unfortunately, but it's able to keep it shorter, right? We changed the style. And we can say, you know what, this looks good, and give it a thumbs up. Or we can say, oh wait, that doesn't make sense. That's actually wrong. Fridges don't heat up meals, right? Or if it had said that. And you can dislike, and you can say, well, here's why it was wrong. And we're going to ignore it because it's doing just fine. Now, if you like it, you can click keep it. If you don't like it, you can click discard. And start straight from scratch. Nothing remembered, nothing saved. So in creating a Copilot, or creating with Copilot, it's a huge help. This is there to benefit and help you with creating whatever. Now we can also say, so I'm going to do this, create a long story about a boy on an adventure to save his father from the evil orc. All right. And so what we're going to do here is we're creating this. I'm not going to read this at all, but I am going to keep it once it's done working on it. And then what we're going to ask Copilot to do, so we're going to keep this, and we can go to Copilot and we can also say things like, hey, can you summarize this for me? Because I don't want to know more about this. And look, there's even pre-done prompts for you. So boom, summarize this document. And look, it didn't just spit out the prompt we gave it, right? Like a little boy trying to save his father. But it's telling us about Ethan's going through the enchanted forest where he receives a magical silver feather from a unicorn. And he gets help and builds a close bond with a dwarf named Bruni. So here, we see that we're able to summarize our documents just as well. And you can say, give me a 1-sentence summary. And there you go. It tells me, hey, this is what this is all about. And we can make it shorter, we can make it longer if I needed to do anything. And I can say, you know what, I want to edit this. Can you add a piece where Ethan falls in love and has trouble with the relationship and makes it better by the end? And so then we can see it'll create this piece for us. And then what we can do is, as we're writing, this is, I know, a story. This is a little silly, and we'll go to more, but we can insert and look at that. Now we've added to the story. Now, granted, we could have chosen like it was. Sorry, if we revert and we're like, ooh, dang it, I forgot that we're over here. We really want to add that here, right? We're going to add a new section here. So now we can insert, and there we go. Now we have a whole nother section to work with, and then all we have to do is get rid of the piece that we don't want, right? The part that it created as an intro. And the exit piece, which again, it's separated and let us know, hey, that this is what it is, right? This is the beginning, this is the end. So with that, we're able to work with a document, create a whole story. What's this? Three pages, 100 or 1,230 words, and we created it in under just a couple of minutes. So it's really, really good at working with, again, with working with our ideas. It's helping us be more creative. It's helping us be more effective. And so let's change this completely. Let's go back a little bit, and we're going to, there we go. Okay, back to the break room. All right, so what I can do here is I can also add more info based off of at, and then I can pick a certain document, and it's not liking me right now, but I can pick a certain document and say, okay, here we go. No, I don't know what that does, but I can add documents and say, hey, add to this, right? Make it part of this, or I can say, hey, you know what? I actually need to add. I don't think I can add myself, but let's see if we can do. Why is it not working? Here we will, there we go. We'll change it into a new chat because we did change quite a bit. And so we can say add Georgia to edit this. And it knows which Georgia finding, and it's letting me know, hey, this is how we can add her, but we're going to scroll past that real quick. And so with our word, there's a lot we really can do. Yes, we did some silly things, right? We got to make a story and add more to the story, but also just in being able to create a brand new story, right? Being able to create a brand new policy and change that policy, add to that policy. This allows us to get rid of a lot of the core work and even some of the wording and help us be more effective when working inside of Copilot in Word. But obviously, we do a lot more with Word. If you're like me, you work with a lot of emails. And so, how can we better work with our emails? Well, emails are kind of a pain sometimes, right? There's a lot. So right here, I have a bunch of emails in my inbox. Oh man. So what I can do is I can come over here to Copilot and ask, are there any important emails in my inbox? And it's going to look through and it's saying, hey, here's some highlights. And it's giving me highlights of some things that are more important. Notice it's giving me information about a lot of these alerts, which alerts are pretty important. That's good. Okay. And I can ask, what did Splunk want? I just happen to see Splunk sent me something. And it's like looking, it's like, oh, well, hey, did you know about this these are not activities, but events that are happening within Splunk? I didn't have to email. It just showed me. And then if I open it, right, it's going to tell me more info. Right, fantastic. I can see, well, do I want this or do I not want this? So with Copilot, it helps me manage and organize. Like you saw, maybe you saw before. We're going to close and open it back up. We can ask it to write or to write rules and say, hey, create a rule for my email. And I would do that, but I pretty strict rules already, and I don't want to mess with that. But I can ask it to do help me with an email. So I need to email, we'll say John. You know what, we'll say, I need to email John Hales and tell him his performance isn't great and I need him to work harder. And now notice I'm creating a fairly blunt email. If anybody, especially here in the States, if we were to receive that, we'd probably be like, that would be really hard. So what we can do, probably because this is a little too harsh. But what we can do is we can create a brand new email. And we're going to copy this. And then we're going to draft with Copilot. Make this sound more professional and kinder, please. And so now it's going to write John, and it's going to tell him, hey, you're not working very hard and you need to improve. But I hope this email finds you well. I want to take a moment to discuss your recent performance and share some constructive feedback. Look at this. This is really nice. This is much nicer than that very blunt way. So you don't have to worry about, well, what's the politically correct or what's the business way, what's the kind way of saying something. You can say it directly and then have help, especially if you're struggling with a particular coworker or trying to make a letter to your boss sound better. And you can look at this and say, great, I want to keep it. Or just like in Word, well, let's change it because that's a lot of email. Let's make it shorter. And there we go. One paragraph says the same thing, offers even to support. Great, this is exactly what I want. I already have a tagline, so I'm going to erase it. And there we go. Now I just need to put his email address up here, and I've created an email that I might have sweated about for ages, trying to figure out, well, how can I work with this person? How can I talk to this person in a better way and get it fixed, and get it to look better? Or again, we can erase everything, go back to Copilot and say, how can I ask my boss for a raise? Right? This is something I might ask, but I don't want to sound too weak. I don't want to sound too needy or too forceful. Um, and here's some really great tips on how to do this. And then I can go back to my email and I might need to, I think I can do, no, I cannot. Yeah, they changed it. But I can go back to my email and click on draft and then say, okay, based off of the last chat, draft an email writing the boss to give me a raise of 20%. And so it's going to look back at this email and it's going to take the points, right? And it's saying, okay, here's what you can do, but it also doesn't know us, right? It's not the perfect tool. Again, this is not where Copilot is going to replace you. This is a tool to help you. And so notice it's looking for what your responsibilities and key accomplishments. It still needs you to make this better, to make it more useful. So you definitely don't want to be like, okay, cool. I wrote this and now I'm just going to send it off to boss, and we can send it to our boss and be like, great. All right, boss, here's we go. If you do that, you might miss things, right? So just be very, very, very careful with when you're utilizing AI that we don't just click accept and send because it's going to look a little goofy sometimes. All right. So, great. We've gotten to see how it works in Word. We've gotten to talk about email. But one of the biggest things for me, I'm an instructor. But let's be honest, most of us probably aren't instructors. But I still use a lot of PowerPoint. I'm going to guess if you have any real type of desk job, you're going to have to create a couple of PowerPoint presentations. And do you like giving PowerPoint presentations? If probably not, right? Like they're a little bit tricky. So here you can see that we can go and create a brand new presentation, and we can create it from a file. And so here I'm going to add my test from my financial. Oh, maybe it's because I'm in it. Here we go. Oh wait, no, that's a real one. There we go. Okay, so here we have this document. This is a Microsoft fake company called Contoso, and we want to create a presentation from this chai tea market. All right, on marketing trends, right? So this is a document, and what we're going to do is we're telling it to create a whole PowerPoint for us. And look at that. So it created it created a little bit with a little bit of the data that we have, and we can go in and build off of this. Now this is a smaller one because the actual presentation, if we look at the Word, isn't as in depth. But anyways, with this, we're able to create a PowerPoint relatively quickly, and we can say, you know what? Let's create a slide. So here we're going to say, add a slide thanking our providers for the best hand-picked tea. And so right here after our introduction, it's going to look and say, okay, great. And it's going to create a brand new slide for us, right? And we can go through and say, okay, for the agenda, we can go in and fix it, or we can say, in this slide, add the points of sales projections and future sites of stores. All right. And so we might have to create a new slide to do that. This one, it didn't like me doing that, but that's okay. Right? Again, this is a useful tool to help us try and work with it. We can also say, you know what, I don't like how this looks. And with our, excuse me, with our designer and Copilot, we can say, you know what, this looks a little too simplistic. Let's make it more big. And you know what, I think I like this top one the best. And great. There you go. And then we can go back and go through designer and find a much better way to lay out what Copilot's already given us and make it look more presentable so we can say, you know what, this looks good. Boom. And now we've created a very small but a very introductory start to our resource. And so we can go in and say, you know what? This is okay. Sorry, they've moved this for me. Let's look and let's get a summary of everything that we see. And it can give us a summary of what we have as well, or understanding, hey, what's the key aspect of this particular slide? So, and then we can say, summarize this slide. And I don't know why it still thinks we're on thank you for our providers, but with it, we're still getting a good overview of what our what our current presentation is offering. And so I'm not going to save this. We're going to let that be. And we're going to head back into, here we go, into our slide. And there we go. So we saw PowerPoint and how powerful that we can use Copilot. Now, granted, this tool's maybe about a year and a bit old. With the integration, there are going to be continual changes, and so check it out now, and then look at how much it can and already has grown. So being able to convert words into PowerPoints, being able to create PowerPoints from ideas. All of this is available for you on our PowerPoint. Now, great. This has been a lot of like very nice, cool show how easy it is to make new things, but what about actually working with a lot of data? I'm a data analyst and I need to be able to get ideas pretty quickly. Well, this is where Copilot on Excel is going to, well, excel. So here we have a bunch of data, right, about our sales, how much they are, when they were, going several years back, and all that good stuff. This is a sample data, so please don't take it to heart. So here I can say, you know what? I want to know which country provided the most units sold. And it's going to work through my entire sheet and it's going to give me a better information. So it shows me that Canada sold the most units with 247,428.5. Great. And so I can also say, oh, you know what? Let's get a deeper analysis. And so it says, okay, hey, we're going to get started, and we can run deep analysis. And so it's going to, there we go, run some code for me, giving me a better insight into my actual data. And so this is a lot easier to read and a lot easier to understand. And now I can say, okay, so this is what's going on overall in this in my Excel spreadsheet. Now I can also go back to sheet 1 and say, what is the total gross sales? And then there we go. And so then we see our gross sales here at $127,931,598.50. Perfect. And then if we make this a little bit bigger, there you go. You can actually see that number because it's a big number scrunched up. Now this, so here I'm going to just get rid of this analysis sheet. There it is. Delete. Thank you. And you can go through and ask it any questions about your data. What was the best year? And it's going to look through and it's going to see how we did over the years, excuse me. And it's going to let me know 2014 was my best year based off of my gross sales. All right. So this is again another great way that we can utilize our tools, and we can ask it to make tables, we can ask it to make graphs and charts. When utilizing our Copilot, when utilizing Copilot, it's a very powerful tool that we've been able to see and being able to utilize it across a variety of different circumstances. Now, meetings. I know we all love meetings and we can't wait to start another meeting. I know for me, it gets a little rough. Sometimes you're just busy, right? There's kids that are around and they're making noise. If you're working from home, sometimes there's just the phone ringing and you miss something. Unfortunately, because I'm in a excuse me, because I'm in Teams right now, I'm unable to demo this. But with Teams, we're able to just go inside of our chat, our Copilot chat in the meeting and say, hey, what was the last thing that was asked? And then get an immediate response and figure out, oh, okay, that's what I missed when the dog was barking, the phone was ringing, while I was checking Facebook during a meeting. Oops. Right? It allows us to catch up. It also allows us to, especially for in sales, you have calls all the time. Can you remember every single customer? Maybe, but can you remember all the details for every customer? That's a lot harder. And so, utilizing Copilot on Teams, we can say, "Hey, Copilot, summarize this meeting." And instead of watching an hour-long meeting again, trying to remember how much company A was willing to pay for product 3, right? We can just ask Copilot directly or hopefully see if the summary has it. And so, excuse me, this lets us be able to be more or give a better personalized experience to the people we work with and work for. Um, we can ask it very specific questions like, oh, hey, have we heard anything about our quarterly budget yet in this meeting? Maybe you missed it. Maybe it just hasn't happened. Copilot can give you that. And you can say, hey, I've been on vacation or I've been out with a brand new baby. Uh, what have we talked about in our weekly meetings for the last 30 days? And it'll give you a summary of, hey, this is what was discussed, this is what's important, this is what actionable items we have for you. So when we're working with teams, this is especially, again, a huge tool to be able to help us better focus, better be, or better more efficient. There we go. That's the word I was looking for. Be more efficient and making sure that we're using the best of our time. And if we miss things, because the error is human, right? It's good that with Copilot, we don't have to worry about that and looking silly anymore. That problem is taken care of for us with Copilot. Now, we do also have business chat. And so with chat, this allows me to, and especially things with like Loop and business chat, we can create better cooperations across teammates, and we can say, oh hey, did we set the calendar to do blank? Oh, did we talk about having blank done? Is this shared document ready? And if so, what does it say? And then, of course, this is also in Teams as well, where again we can look through a Teams and say, "Hey, what did Neha say about the quarterly projections for 2026 in Q1 and Q2?" Great, all of that available for us to utilize. Now we've gotten to see a lot of these products demoed and getting to see how they're used. Um, but at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to go over some more practical use cases and how they can be used across the board. Some of this will demo, some of this we will be unable to demo just because of time constraints. Okay, so let's take a quick 5-minute break, and then I'll start on the remaining topics after the break.
Thank you so much, Robert. Hello, everyone. I am Sagnik, and now I'd like to take over and go through the badge redemption part very quickly before we head over for the break. Uh, I hope my screen is visible. You can hear my voice clearly, and I would request everyone to follow the link to this landing page, which is currently visible on my screen, to on the GoToWebinar chat window, right? So quickly refer to that link, which is being posted right now on your GoToWebinar chat window, and open that link up on your respective desktop browsers or your mobile browsers, depending on from where you are joining us today. And let's all participate in this quick process of redeeming the courseware and the badges for today's topic on Copilot. So I'd wait for a minute for everyone to kind of open up this landing page. It is available on your chat window on GoToWebinar. You can easily locate that. And if in case you don't find it right now, please feel free to follow these steps, because the redemption link will also be available on your event handouts post this session as well. So in case you're having any bandwidth issues or you are kind of busy, you can't complete the process right now, you can always go back and complete it after the session as well. But I would recommend, let's complete this process right away. This is barely going to take us 2 to 3 minutes, and then we can head over to the break. All right, so I hope we are all here on this particular landing page. And I'm excited to announce that all the participants in today's masterclass have been given exclusive free access to the MS-4004 and MS-4005 courseware and related digital achievement trophies and badges from Microsoft. The best part is you also get to claim your achievement badges on Microsoft Learn to celebrate your skilling journey, and it would be part of your transcript that you can share with your employer, with your peers across your professional networks like LinkedIn, right? These badges help you highlight your newly acquired skills and can immensely boost your career potential. So let's take a quick look at the steps that we all need to follow. And first of all, I'd like everyone to notice this section on the page, right? As it mentions, there are two badges that you would be entitled to as part of today's session, that is on 4004 and 4005. The names for these are Empower Your Workforce with Microsoft 365 Copilot use cases, as well as Craft Effective Prompts for Microsoft 365 Copilot. Now, these are the two main links that you need to follow, right? But what are the specific steps that are involved as you initiate the process by clicking on each of these links, right? So redeem your MS-4004 courseware and badges. And the second link is redeem your MS-4005 courseware and badges. So there are 3 steps that you need to follow for each of these 2 links to redeem your courseware and badges. The very first step is you need to sign into your Microsoft Learn account. So once you click on this link, you will be redirected to Microsoft Learn. And in case you don't have an existing account, you will be prompted to create one, right? So once you click on this link, if you're already signed in, you have a Microsoft Learn account created already, you would be straight away going to step 2, as it would automatically log you in. If case you don't have a Microsoft Learn account, you can quickly create one by using this option, right, which is highlighted in red here, that no account, create one. You simply click on this link, you follow the prompts. It's basically going to take you around a minute or so. It's very easy and simple. You can create your own account instantly. And as you complete creating your account, you will be redirected to step number 2, right? That's as simple as it gets. Now, once you click on that, once you either log in or you create your account, this is how the step number 2 looks. You'd be greeted with a prompt saying redeem your code, and it's going to show you a pre-populated achievement code which is unique to you on this dialog, and it won't be editable. You don't have to fill anything in. It would automatically be pre-populated on your behalf, right? All you need to do at this step is just simply click on the redeem button that is highlighted in red here, right? So you click on redeem, it's going to process for a couple of seconds, and then you're going to ultimately see the step number 3, which is this prompt, which says we have added your achievements to your profile. So this entire process is now completed at this point. It's as simple as this. So it's a 3-step process. You need to simply click on these 2 links, right? Redeem your MS-4004, go through step 1, step 2, and step 3, and you'd be done with that. And then once again, come back to this particular tab on your browser, right? And then click on this particular button for MS-4005 and basically repeat the same steps. Now, once you already redeem your 4004, you're already signed in on Microsoft Learn. Once you click on the second link, you'd be directly arriving at step number 2. Since you are already signed in, it won't ask you to sign in again, right? So it's going to be even quicker in that case. So it is as simple as that. 3 simple steps you need to follow twice for these 2 courseware and badges. And as you are complete with your redemption process, you can simply navigate to the training tab on your Microsoft Learn profile from the left hand options, right? And then you can find your official courseware modules, and you can also look at the digital certificates and the badges from there that you can directly share, right? And we always encourage you to be proud of your achievement and celebrate it by sharing your digital trophies on your LinkedIn profile. And please don't forget to tag Netcom Learning and Microsoft on your posts for maximum visibility and reach. Now, this is the simple process. We hope you are able to follow along with us, complete this process. It's going to take 2 to 3 minutes. And in case you're having any difficulties, you're getting stuck somewhere, we are available on chat. So please post your questions or queries in the chat, and we would make sure to help you out as you are sending in your queries, right? So please make sure to do this, take advantage of this break time, get this done and dusted with. And in case you do get stuck, no worries, you can always complete it even after the session today as well. With that, I'd like to uh, let everyone have their break, and we would be back with Robert to continue the rest of the session. Thank you so much.
Sure, we are now going to take a 5-minute break, but before we do that, we are going to launch a quick poll that we want to invite you to participate in. Doing so helps us know how we can better serve you by telling us who might be interested in more information or in taking some additional training. In addition, we have a lot more informative webinars coming up, so please go to netcomlearning.com/webinars in order to register.
Welcome back, everyone. Let's continue where we left off. So, let's take a look at some of those ways that we can actually utilize Copilot in a more practical sense. So, let's start off with HR. So, as human resources, you are given a problem. You need to have a brand new policy based off of performance, ensuring that people know that there's a performance target that needs to be reached of 60 projects a week need to be filled out. So you need to create a brand new policy that is easy to understand, simple, and also includes consequences. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to first start off in Word. So we're going to create a brand new document, and we're going to do exactly what we did before. We're going to now this time we're going to be a little bit more specific. You are an HR director. Create a policy that outlines our company goal of 60 projects completed a week. Include that if goals are unmet, that there will be escalating consequences. Escalating consequences up to being let go. Make it short and keep the tone professional, yet casual, or yet friendly. There we go. That's a much better way of saying that. Okay. So now it's going to go and create the draft that we're looking for. And so we're trying to see, okay, well, how long will this take us? Normally, yeah, it's going to take me quite a while just to type this, right? Let alone make sure it's right. So we're going to look here and say, okay, good. This looks good, but make it shorter and more concise. I know I spelled that word wrong, but that's okay. Okay, there we go. A little bit shorter, more concise, more bullet points. Great. So this looks good. I want to keep it. Now here I want to fix the name, so I'm going to put at Contoso. Right, we aim for excellence. Yep, that looks good. And you know what? This line doesn't look good. All right, perfect. Now, I'm also going to say, you know what? We don't need this piece, right? Because they know where to reach out. And we'll get rid of the conclusion and make just this a little bit bigger. And there we go. We've created a brand new policy relatively quickly. But is this the end? No. All right. So now I need to save my policy and call this my project policy. Okay. And now I need to share it. We'll say on an email. And so we'll create a new email. And we're going to send it to Robert, which is me, about my project policy. And I'm going to tell it to summarize the project policy document and attach it here. I don't think it'll attach, but there we go. And so it was able to pick out my policy. I'm going to say, okay, perfect. Keep it. Oh, this gave it just a general policy, but that's all right. So we're going to keep that where it is, and we're going to attach a file. And notice, well, okay, it didn't show here, but we can browse our OneDrive, and up there's my project policy, share link, and there we go. And now I can come here and say, hey, summarize this file. And then I can put that into here, that into my email, because it didn't do well. All right, I'm going to copy this, send it out. And I'm going to get rid of just some of the more, okay, we don't need all of these numbers here, right? That's fine. So we just edit it up a little bit. And look at that. Now it looks like a email that we wrote. It says a little bit about what the project is or what the policy is, having the policy there, and then boom, we can send it out. And that's now made my life a little bit faster, right? A little bit more streamlined. And so as I get responses back, I can look and say, oh, well, give me a quick summary. And it's showing me a summary of what we discussed in this email thread. Now, granted, it's from me to me, so it's going to be a little bit more boring. But great, we can have this all done and ready. So that's one way that we can use it as HR. We can also use this, again, like we saw with finance, being able to plan, being able to build budgets. So we can say, going back to our financial sample that we had here, so we can say, looking at 2014, what can we expect from Germany in, we'll just say, the next year? And it's going to look and say, well, there we go. And so it's showing me, hey, these are the gross sales from last year. And I think, if I remember right, yeah, it does show some sales from 2013, but that's okay. It's only really 2 years, so it doesn't really give that much. Okay, here we go. A better question. Where do we see the highest amount of change between the months? And again, we can view and get deeper insights, into our data. And unfortunately, mine crashed for right now. So with that, perfect. We'll just change it over here. And so now it should give Now it's going to go back to the sheet instead of building a Python formula to work with it. So now this time we should see a better analysis of our data. Right, it's going to show us this time how to do it. And then again, we can say, hey, we want the deeper response and tell our advanced analysis to run with it. We can also go and create and say, hey, over this, stop advanced analysis, create a pie chart by month of sales of total sales. There we go. And so now it's going to take a look over my whole table, and here we go. It's created a new chart, and so then I can say, great, add that to the sheet. And now we can see the sum of our sales. Just like that, we're able to create documents and visual presentations that much faster that much faster as we work in like finance or something. With emails, or if we're in marketing, we can create personalized sales pitches to our customers. We can gather data from our websites and be able to put that data into our Copilot to help us generate a better marketing platform. The use of Copilot is only limited by you, right? How much are you willing to put into it? How much are you willing to try new ways of working within Copilot? So now this is good. I've shown you some very light use cases. We're definitely seeing them utilized for various purposes across the board. Sometimes it's as simple as creating new emails, projects, etc. Sometimes it's just an easy way to summarize massive amounts of emails and work calls and meetings, etc. So how do I ensure that as I'm working within Copilot, that I can utilize it successfully? Because this is definitely an expensive product, or it can be. At $30 per person per month, that number can go up very, very quick. All right, because when we're looking at, I think that's 3,600 or 360, excuse me, $360 a year per person. Okay, well, if I've got 10 people, that's 3,000. 100 people, that's 36,000, right? Like it adds up quickly. So how do I ensure that I'm getting my most out of it? That people aren't going to be excited for maybe a minute or two and then, give up and walk away? How do I ensure that we're going to be able to actually utilize it well enough to start like saving money, making it worth that $360? So the thing is, when we're working with Copilot, before we get into any of this, the most important thing we need to do is to build a culture of AI. Your company needs to understand, and the people in your company need to understand why we have it, how we can utilize it, and encourage innovation within AI instead of just forcing into small corners. Now, in some places and in some industries, That's just not possible right now, and that's okay. But for quite a few industries, utilizing AI is going to be the difference between being successful and failing. We're going to see that AI is going to be the way that we can process through information faster, more efficiently, and get better insights. Now, right now, working with our AI is a little bit of an art. So you need to know how you want to ask. Like you saw in the demos, they weren't perfect. Things didn't go right all the time. It's not an exact science. We have an entity that can pretty much uh, reason and figure out, well, why this, not that. It's not a perfect science. We're going to have different outcomes depending on how we interact, how often we interact, how much data is available. And so, if you look at AI as a tool that will do everything for you, and you can just sit back and make a nice paycheck, no, that's not it. If you're looking for a buddy that will help you and will give you good ideas, push you in the right direction, and help your innovation, yes, that's where AI is going to thrive. When your company and your organization understands, okay, we're utilizing AI because it makes us more inventive, because it's making us more efficient, that's when AI is going to be used for you. If you're utilizing AI for shortcuts, if you're utilizing AI because you don't feel like doing something, or you just wanted to give you the perfect answer the first time, that's not this product. Um, right? We need to treat it like a true partner. Um, because it is. It's there to help augment your abilities and what you're able to do. So even if you're an IT and you're like, oh dang it, how can I use this? Right? Like it doesn't seem like it's a very useful tool. Not at all. We can have it like you saw with the Excel spreadsheet. Do you know what it was creating? Python. It was creating Python scripts to utilize. So if you need to utilize Copilot to help you write um, better code or to check your code for you, yeah, go ahead. If you want to ask it questions, well, hey, when should I use um, SQL versus Cosmos DB in Azure? That's where AI can help you. It allows us to focus more on creativity instead of trying to figure out, well, what's the itty nitty gritty that we get lost and stuck on? Like, how do I make this proposal? How do I state blankety blank for the proposal? Well, nobody wants to think about that, right? Like it's hard and it takes a lot of effort. But with AI, we can reduce some of that and focus on just what are the ideas? What do we want done? And use AI to help us get it done. So, when utilizing Copilot, make sure that first and foremost, you check everything. This isn't a perfect answer, right? It's pulling data from generally reliable sources, but there's been mistakes. Earlier in 2024, there was an issue where the science of eugenics was reintroduced to people as a legitimate science on ChatGPT. And for those of you who are like, I don't know what eugenics is, it is not a legitimate science. It's a belief that one race is better than another race because of XYZ genetic factors. It's just not true. It's a pseudoscience. And that was a mistake. And great, OpenAI went in and fixed it immediately as soon as it was discovered, right? That shouldn't be it. But sometimes mistakes are made. Right? Same with people. Sometimes mistakes are made, and we need to double check. So, trust. Trust that it's giving you the right information, but verify it. Make sure that, yes, this is what it says. So, when you get your summaries, make sure, yeah, okay, it is saying the right thing. With this, we're also going to go towards, or make sure that we don't go towards an over reliance on our AI. When you're just like, oh, okay, you know what? I don't care. Just AI do blank, 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 go, 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 go. It's going to create poor outcomes. When you utilize it as the tool it's intended, as a helping tool, not a doing tool, right? It's not going to create your final product, but it'll help you get there. It'll help you get really, really close. And so by utilizing it a little bit, it's going to make you a better, smarter, more efficient worker or manager or whomever. If you overutilize it and become reliant on it, it becomes a crutch, and your work quality is going to diminish greatly. Um, and so, again, as we don't overutilize it, we're going to be able to better unlock our creativity. We're going to be able to create better better memos, implement better ideas to help our organizations, find better ways to code, find better ways to build or to write or what have you, right? Depending on wherever you are. It's there to help make you more creative. Now, with that, as we do give our Copilot models the ability to try and be more creative, we do need to be careful because as things are wrong, as things aren't what we're looking for, we need to make sure that we provide regular feedback. This is going to help Microsoft be more effective at creating the best model for you. Now, you might say, well, okay, cool, Rob. We talked about a lot of this, right? And we already talked about this privacy and security. Please make sure you, again, with the trust but verify. Just be careful what you put into Copilot. Be very careful what you put into Copilot. But the one thing that I want to talk about next is prompts. There is a very different way of prompting. And so we want to make sure that we are clear and concise. Now, how do we do that? And that's where we get into how to create a more effective prompt. So, what does it take to build an effective prompt? Well, first you need to look at what do you want done? All right. Um, do you want an email created? Do you want to create an outline or a summary? What do you want? And then context. Well, why am I creating this? What is it needed? Or who is it needed for, right? And then setting out expectations. What do we want this to sound like? Do we want this to be longer? Do we want this to be shorter? And then adding a source. And so this is optional. And you can say, hey, I want it to come from this document, or I want it to come from this email or go to this or this chat, excuse me. Now, you might say to yourself, well, does it make that much of a difference? All right, so we're going to head back to our Copilot here. This is, again, still Microsoft 365. And I'm going to ask to do the same task, but I'm going to create one with an effective prompt or one with an ineffective prompt and one with an effective prompt. So I'm going to ask it to write a poem for me. So I'm going to say write a poem that rhymes about dogs being cute. And so there we go. It created a pretty basic poem. In the park, they run and play, chasing tails throughout the day with wagging tails and joyful barks. They light up our hearts like sparks. Oh, cool. This is a really nice little poem. But now we're going to be more specific, right? We're going to get a little bit deeper. So I can say, you are a poet like Dr. Seuss. Yeah, there you go. Like Dr. Seuss. Write a poem about dogs being cute. Make it short and simple that a 5-year-old could memorize it. All right. And this time, so here we have our goal. We want them to write a poem. Right? This right here is our goal. Writing a poem about our dogs. That's our goal. The context is, well, we want it. The context is more of, well, we want it to be a poem about it being cute for a 5-year-old. The expectation is to make it short and simple for that 5-year-old, right? And so now, here we go. Much shorter than the other one by half, and says, dogs are cute, they bark and play, they make us happy every day. With wagging tails and little paws, they bring us joy without a pause. Their fur is soft, their eyes so bright, they cuddle close all through the night. Dogs are friends, both big and small. We love them dearly, one and all. Right? Very, very much so in that mind of Dr. Seuss. We're getting something a little better. And this is with a poem. Now, when you say something a little bit more usable, like write an email to Jane about our meeting on Friday, right? It'll create a very, very, very basic email. But if I say you are a manager at a large company, write an email, right? So there's a goal to Jane about the meeting Friday at 4 p.m. with Toys R Us and the shipment of dolls they are requesting. And yes, Toys R Us is back in business, believe it or not. So now we have our goal, our context, and now we're going to add our expectations. Keep the email short and light, and make sure the tone is professional, but also excited. And so now, so I want you to know it was looking for sources. It was looking for who is Jane and setting up a meeting. So if I put my real coworkers' names, it would create an actual meeting for me. And so then there you go. It created a short email. It gave me a subject. Very straightforward, very simple. So notice there's less work that I have to do. And it's not asking if we want to do, it's just saying, hey, be there and here we're excited. It creates a better quality. It may take a little bit longer. And for some of these very short emails, which are easier to present in a presentation, right? As we do longer emails, memos, etc., effective prompting is going to matter that much more. So effective prompting is going to be the best way to ensure that you are creating materials that are going to wow, materials that reflect who you are and your actual goal. Now, if you're like, well, Robert, how do I know that I'm doing a good job with prompting? Well, one way is, how often are you going back and having to give another prompt or a clarifying prompt? If you have to do that frequently, well, then maybe you aren't being specific enough. Maybe you aren't prompting as efficiently as possible. Another very easy way is, the cool thing is, we can say, I actually have to type, create an image of a dog surfing. All right. And so notice here, we're going to create a image of a dog surfing, and this is the best way of seeing how efficient you are at prompting, because who knows what this is going to create. This could create something very realistic, or this could create something very, very, very goofy. All right, and see, so it's giving us a mix, because we weren't specific, right? We didn't prompt well, so we're getting a wide range. But if we said, create an image of a Yorkie surfing on their hind legs in Hawaii. There we go. In Hawaii, right? Now, this is much more specific, right? We're giving much better details, and so we should see better images. And so we had an okay prompt. Now we have a good prompt, right? Because this is much more specific. And so now we can say, create an image of a Yorkie in a Hawaiian shirt surfing on their hind legs while winning a surf contest. Right? So now we're make the dog seem very happy about winning. So now this is a even better prompt. I won't say any prompt is perfect because, again, sometimes even a good prompt might fall on its face, but you're more likely to get a really good response. And so now we're going to see what we get with an even better prompt that's more specific. And look, now we see the dog is winning. Sometimes it's a little bit silly things, right? Like the 6 legs or whatever. But what we're doing here is we're creating an efficient prompt. So if you're not sure how you're prompting, try to create an image, because this will see and have that image in your mind, like, okay, this is what I want to create, and see how close you can get to that. That's going to be a great sign of how well you're doing with your prompt engineering. So avoid being ambiguous. Be as specific as possible. But again, if you make it too long and add too many details, it does overwhelm the system. So there is a fine balance. Use positive. You don't want to add. Don't add this, because if you do, you might say, let me get my. There we go. So I can create the same prompt again, and this time I'm going to make one change and say, don't make the dog seem very happy about winning. And you'll see here that it doesn't always work. When you add don't, sometimes it focuses super heavily on that, because don't seems to add more weight to your prompt. And so you definitely want to be careful about, again, how you word things. Like, see, it's still like it looks a little bit sadder. So this time it did work, and I'm very happy about that. But it doesn't show them winning necessarily, right? So it changed the entire tone of the image, and it also ignored, well, I want it on its hind legs that I had before. It did it here, but not with the others. So again, you just want to be very careful. You you just want to be careful, and the best way to know how you're doing is just practice, practice, practice. Try new things, right? Try to say, hey, well, do it like this person, or um, add some colloquials, like, right? Say, add some razzle dazzle. See how it responds. And understand, this is a machine. It has limitations. While creating pictures is fun, it's not its main purpose. Its main purpose is to take our super repetitive tasks, and if we can have it recreate the same things for us over and over and over, and help us answer and get through some of the more mundane, even better. Even better. Now, you might say, but Robert, you said it's a machine. I'm looking ahead here, and it's saying be polite. Why? Why should we be polite? It's just a machine. Yes, but remember, it's learning how we communicate through how we communicate. So if we start getting angry and bitter with it, it will respond more angrily and bitter with us. So as we're polite, it's going to be able to practice and keep up that polite attitude. And we all like to have a little bit of a more sunshiny disposition, and working with someone with a sunshiny disposition, excuse me, than someone who's cranky generally. But feel free, dig deeper. If you have questions, if you want to know sources, please ask. Please ask and say, hey, Copilot, where did you get that? Why is it like this? And if it missed something, say, hey, you missed this piece. Can you add this piece to it? Or if it's just too much trouble, I mean, you can add it yourself. So with that, Copilot is fantastic. And like you saw earlier with, oh, no, here we go. Nope, that is not it. Excuse me. Oh, no, that's because I closed it. Okay. Let me head back to Bing and head into my Copilot. Oh, making sure I'm me. See, again, part of that security. Thank you, Cloudflare. All right. So, like we saw earlier, we can use and integrate a lot of different resources. And so I can go into like forms, and I can use Copilot here to help me create better forms. And so, right, the forms is used to collect feedback and fun things like that. Um, I can talk to Copilot and say, um, "Hey, I want to be able to plug into a particular app that we have on prem." You can go to Azure and create your own Copilot resources and connect them to your applications and make your application smarter and more flexible. So, so this Copilot Studio, which you can't see, there we go. So my Copilot Studio, this is a great place where we can help work and create an actual application utilizing Copilot. So if we need Copilot to do a particular job, and that's what we need a group of people to do, well, either we can pay that $360 a year per person, or we can use Copilot Studio to create something that we can use and replicate and potentially save more money. So again, being specific is going to be the best way to get the best answers. If you say insert a slide, sure, it'll insert a slide. Who knows what it's going to be about? But just the more, not necessarily the more, but you want to be as clear as possible while still maintaining relevancy by making a prompt more relevant, more clear, making sure that we're telling it, hey, this is the tone we want it. It's going to generate better prompts. Yeah, it's going to create better prompts for us. So with that, that is Copilot in a nutshell. And so Copilot is, and so we're gonna go over Copilot again. So Copilot is a collection of tools, right? It's got that large language model that's utilizing our natural language processing, NLP, and it's utilizing graph to help build connections and to help build connections between what I have in Microsoft 365 and this large language model that understands how we talk, right? No matter how we're speaking. Like you could be watching this with subtitles potentially done by Copilot and watch this in your native language. So Copilot is a bunch of pieces working together to make your life easier. Is it expensive? It can be, but we can get some real ROI from it by improving our efficiency, by getting rid of some of the more nominal work, repetitive work. It's there. Now, how far can we go? with Copilot as far as you want. It's best to work with Copilot in an environment that supports AI, in an environment that supports AI usage and exploration. It's still a relatively new tool. This generative AI in the form it currently is new. And we want you to get the most out of it. Now, we've talked about ways we can utilize it. We've talked about ways that it has been utilized. But the question is, well, how do I really implement that, right? How can I know that I'm doing the right things? How can I get better and deeper understanding? Because in this course, right, this has been about 2 hours so far, and it's just been us chit-chatting about Copilot. Right? We talked a little bit about Copilot and how it works and all that fun stuff, but really this is just scratching the surface. This is meant to be introductory. We this isn't intended to go deep into the weeds of either what makes Copilot tick or how to utilize Copilot. If you want to learn more, which you need to, then you need to work on going to additional courses. So Microsoft has new courses and new certifications that have been created for you. There's the brand new AI 900 and AI 102, which is my AI fundamental class and my AI engineer course, where you can go in and learn not just about Copilot, but how artificial intelligence works. Do I need Gen AI, or can I use more traditional AI to get a task done for a better price? And with that learning, you can then get certified. So, why would I want to get certified? So getting a certification is going to be a great tool for you to be able to increase your employability. When you go into a job interview and you say, "Hey, I've got these credentials," employers look differently at you for that. When you're in your own job and you improve and get more certifications, you are able to improve your worth not just to the company but to yourself as well, and you can expect to earn more money, up to 20% more, uh, with doing these classes. And sometimes there's certifications, but sometimes there's these really cool badges. And if you get certifications, don't worry, you get a badge too that you can dare share on LinkedIn, on Facebook, X, whatever, and show off, hey, this is where I am with Microsoft. It is a great way of showing your skills off to the world to make sure that you're getting recognized and that you're getting paid for what you're worth, right? And these certificates show exactly, hey, this is how much knowledge I have. Hire me, pay me more, right? Or put me into a better skill spot. Now, with that, there's a link that you guys are going to get with a little handbook that talks about how working with a trained staff is going to be able to help. Because sometimes training is seen as the thing that I have to do. Um, but in this book, we talk about why. Because either you can pay a penny for a penny to prevent, or you can pay $1 to cure. Do you want people exploring AI without knowing what they're doing and spend more time guessing? Or do you want them to be educated? Do you want them to make good, educated guesses as they grow and know and learn from the mistakes of others in the past? These classes, we have great instructors like myself, like we saw with Tracy, that are there able to help you grow, help you become the best you can be, and your company to reach the a much higher place. You're going to find that training can help increase your efficiency, not decrease it. So with that, we recommend that you take some role-based instructor-led training. We have lots of class. Let's say, great AI, because we're in an AI class right now, right? That's good. We have lots of great AI training, but we also have courses available in architecting, developing, Power BI, um, whether you want to stay within Microsoft or others. Here at Netcom Learning, we have lots of great trainings from, again, instructors from all over the world. Now, specifically with Microsoft, everybody knows Microsoft. Everybody knows the importance of utilizing Microsoft in the workplace. And so by having your certification, or if you've had it before, renew it and then you can uh get generally discounts on renewal, and again show the world, hey, this is what I know, this is what I am trained in, and this is what I'm certified in, and everybody's going to recognize that you are a Microsoft professional, that you know what you're talking about, and that you know how to do XYZ, whether it's AI, architecting, developing, whether it's working with big data, or whether it's working with end user products. Please feel free, get in touch with us at the end, and we can help you find your pathway and find where you are and help you reach where you want to be. So, we definitely want you guys to get trained and certified. That's our big reason for being here. Thank you so much for your time so far. Now, for the important part, I want to stop here and take your questions. So, if you have any questions, please let me know. Uh, we do have a little bit of time, so I'll answer a couple of questions. And any other questions, please feel free to talk to the sales team, and they can either send you to me, or we can get you a class that can best answer those questions.
Thank you, Robert. That was most informative.
I know everyone is looking forward to the Q&A session, so go ahead and start putting your questions into the questions panel. And while you do that, I would like to give the presentation rights over to Sagnik, our vendor manager, to introduce you to our promotions and webinar related courses.
So as you can see on my screen, this is the event handout that you all have received. Once again, we thank you all for taking out the time and joining our masterclass today. As part of this handout, you'd see the content section wherein the different sections within the document have been listed here, and everything is hyperlinked. So you can quickly use these links to jump to the specific section of the document. Before we proceed, it's worth mentioning that Netcom Learning, we are the proud winners of the Microsoft Partner of the Year award for 2 years in a row. So as we say, the legacy continues. In 2022, we were the Partner of the Year worldwide, and in 2023, we were the Partner of the Year for United States. And we are also a Microsoft Cloud Solutions partner. That means that we have capabilities across all the 6 solution areas recognized by Microsoft. A few more things about us. We are in the training industry for over 25 years now, having serviced over 80% of the Fortune 1000 companies, serviced 100 plus US military bases. Overall, we have trained 1 million plus professionals across 36,000 plus unique enterprises, and we enjoy a 96% recommendation rate from our customers. All our trainings on Microsoft are delivered by instructors that are certified and authorized by Microsoft. And our overall instructor pool stands at about 3,200 plus certified professionals. We are your one-stop solution for all your corporate upskilling needs with official training across every major technology and business solution provider. So as we can see over here, we are an authorized training partner for all the industry leaders across Microsoft, AWS, Cisco, CompTIA, PMI, EC Council, and others. Now, within this handout, you would also find this particular page wherein you can find the session recording. You can use the link to access the recording for today's session and revisit the concepts that were covered in today's masterclass. Also, all the participants will be given access to Netcom 365. It is our student portal that includes a lot of features and resources for you to take advantage of to supercharge your skilling journey. All you need to do if you're accessing it and activating it for the first time is set up your password and then you'd be good to go. We highly recommend everyone to explore our learning portal uh, to take full advantage of all your skilling resources. Now let's quickly take a look at some of the latest offers on Microsoft trainings and certifications. First off, we have the Microsoft Quick Start program, which is applicable across the entire portfolio, encompassing Azure, Security, Microsoft 365, Dynamics 365, and Power Platform. It is truly the best in class exclusive enterprise discount offering on your end-to-end Microsoft training across the official portfolio. The pricing model is quite simple and straightforward. If you have a team, if whether you are a large organization or a small organization, and you have a team to train across departments or within the same department, we have two options for you depending on your team size. If you are looking to train more than 15 learners, you would be getting a flat discounted pricing of $300 per day per learner. And of course, as the number of days for the particular training increases, the the amount also increases, but you get significant savings on this. If you are having a smaller team, that is 14 learners or less, then you still are entitled to a $400 discounted flat pricing per day per learner. This really accounts to huge savings when it comes to large scale training. So we highly recommend everyone to get in touch with us, explore the offering by clicking on the link provided in this handout. And all your trainings can also be customized based on the specific projects and workloads that you and your team, your organization is working on. And our industry specific subject matter expertise encompasses a wide range of verticals, as you can see over here, from banking and financial services, healthcare, federal and state and local government, to education, energy, manufacturing, retail, consumer goods, and more. Also, you'd find that if you have a team, if you are a big organization or a small organization, having a team that you're looking to train, our 2-hour private group training demo is also a great option for you as the next step. It is free of cost, as we say, you can see over here, and it is customizable as per your needs. So rather than a public delivery, which was the format of today's session, you're going to get a private group training wherein our instructor is going to connect with you, understand your specific requirements, and our learning consultants are going to map out your specific needs and accordingly tailor the skilling plan that makes sense for you and your business. So these training demos are provide a great value because these are customizable. All the trainings are delivered by our top rated trainers, and you get a complimentary skilling plan consultation, allowing you to get clarity on which specific courses are needed to be taken by your team. And in case you are a large organization, you are a multi-shore firm with multiple divisions and your workforce spread across geographies, or you have multiple business units within the same organization, the skilling needs kind of get complicated in those scenarios, right? But how do you manage your training funds in that case? And that's why we have the Learning Passport, which provides a flexible team training package. Basically, you park all your training funds with us for 12 months. And within these 12 months, you get exceptional value on the funds that you invest, right? Up to 100% increase of your fund value is what you can experience with our Learning Passport. And these funds are flexible. That means you can use it to train irrespective of the individual that you want to opt in for. A simple distinction with the Netcom Plus is that it is mapped to the specific learner and it is only valid for that learner. But in Learning Passport, you get that additional flexibility that for one particular course, you can pick one particular learner, and for another, you can use your same training dollars for another course. This is basically giving you unlimited access to our entire authorized training portfolio of 4,000 plus official courses. So we highly recommend you to check this out if you have such skilling requirements, especially keeping in mind that the end of the year is coming, and we are aware that organizations need to finalize their training budgets. If they don't use it, they kind of lose it. So this is an ideal solution for you guys to park your training funds and make sure you get the ultimate value all year round. Now we will take a look at the recommended courses that we have. Over here, you can see the courses that are related to today's topic have been mapped here, divided by fundamentals and role-based. So we highly recommend everyone to click on these links. All of these are hyperlinked. Pick the item that you want to explore and you'd be redirected to the official documentation that we have on these particular courses. Also, please note that all the courses that are delivered by Netcom Learning are delivered by subject matter experts. You get additional perks like 180 days access to virtual labs wherever applicable. Also, you get access to 90 days to the class recordings to revisit the concepts. You get full access to our Netcom 365 portal, as well as you can repeat the classes free of cost within a specified duration if you want to revisit or you couldn't attend the first time. We also have a couple of free resources mapped here, like our upcoming free event and a blog. We highly recommend you to explore those as well. With that, I'd like to thank everyone. Do follow us on our social handles, and we hope to see you soon once again on one of our events and classes. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks so much for guiding us through that information, Sagnik. And now we're going to go ahead and jump right into our question and answer session.
Our first question is, why should we use Copilot instead of ChatGPT or DeepSeek?
That's a great question. So when we look at Copilot, it's built off of OpenAI, which is ChatGPT. So why not just go straight to the source? Why not just use ChatGPT? Well, the problem with that is the ability to connect to Microsoft 365. Your Copilot license is integrated into all of our products, like you saw with PowerPoint, Excel, Mail, everything. There's Copilot integrations. So if you want to work off of your data securely and know where it's being stored and know where your data is being processed, then you need to use Copilot. If you're okay with being more out there in the open and unsure about how your data is being used, go for it. Go for and use just ChatGPT. And with DeepSeek, it is a brand new technology. We're seeing that it still isn't on its 2 feet and has a lot of incorrect answers right now. Um, Really great price, but again, not as accurate. If you're looking for accuracy, if you're looking for integration, look no further. Use Copilot.
Our second question is, what's the real ROI on AI?
So The real ROI on AI is that's a great question, because the answer is my favorite tech answer, and that is it depends. If we're a company that's just using it because we want to be cool, your ROI is going to be minimal. If you have a specific use case in mind and you find the right people that you want to give it to, your ROI is going to be immense. You can see up to 50% return on your expenditures, right? So you can see a 50% increase of what you've spent up to. So ROI, we're going to see that you might not see a bottom dollar change, but you'll see the amount of projects that you're able to do change. And hopefully that's going to lead to more and better profit margins. And as we're able to be creative, we should see new ways of finding money instead of just depending on the way we've done things for years and years. So the real ROI, it depends. Um, but you will see a return on investment if you plan properly and know what and how you want to use AI.
Our third question is, I'm worried AI is going to make employees dependent on AI and we will lose value. Is this going to affect our quality of work?
That's a great question. So when we're looking at AI, that is a very natural fear that everybody's going to get lazy, right? Just like when cars were invented, nobody would ever walk again, right? We'd only ever drive, and to some degree that's happened a little bit, but no, it hasn't stopped us. It's changed. It's made us more innovative, right? Technology has helped push us forward, and AI is going to do the same. Now, granted, with that, you do need to be careful, because there are going to be employees who are going to try to take the shortcut. As a student and as an instructor, having AI can be very easy to depend on, right? You can just say, okay, write this up, create this, do whatever, and effective by ensuring that your employees are utilizing it effectively, by training them in the effective way to utilize AI. I'm willing to bet, and I believe all my heart, that you will find much more effective and much more productive employees.
Our last question is my data safe on here, or is it being shared to train the model and share my secrets with other organizations?
With our training data, right? This is we saw earlier from Microsoft, their privacy, that they, if you're utilizing the license version and you're using your work email, your enterprise email, then yes, your data is protected, because it's being stored on OneDrive. It's being processed and given real time authorization, meaning it can only access it during the time it's physically using it. If it's not using it, it can't access it again. So even if I know the file name, I get fired from the company and I tell Copilot on a different company, hey, pull this file, it can't and it won't. Your data is protected as long as you're using a enterprise email or you're paying for Copilot. Your data is safe and protected, right? And again, that's in accordance with more of ISO, and especially if you're in Europe, it is in accordance with GDPR.
Once again, I want to remind you that as you leave the session today, you will be presented with a short survey. We would like to request for you to help us by taking a quick moment to participate in that survey. Your feedback really helps us understand your learning experience, as we are constantly looking at how we can improve our future sessions. The survey answers are measured on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 representing outstanding and 1 representing poor. We want to thank all of you for joining us today, and if you do come up with any additional questions, feel free to send them to webinar@netcomlearning.com at any time. We hope that you found today's webinar informative, and we look forward to seeing you back here with us soon. Feel free to tell your friends and colleagues about our webinars and other courses. Have a great day, everyone.